Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin. We're going to pretend it's Friday, March 20th. Happy spring. We'll make believe it's still 11:59. I know I'm about 8 minutes late. So let me get my things set up. Those of you who have been patient waiting for me, thank you. Hopefully you'll catch me. I have sound, so that's a good thing. And let me get my other device set up. And we'll be ready to roll. Okay. We're almost there. Alrighty. Let's see where we're at. We have just a few announcements. Let me get my act together. There we go. So you kind of have an idea of who I am. Hello, Suzanne, right? Suzanne from Arkansas. Jess. Hey, Juju. Macman might still be awake. I'm not sure. He only went to bed a little bit ago, so he might still be here. So welcome, everybody. You know the drill. All right, so yes, Suzanne, Jess. Awesome. Yepers. So you know the thing, all the Stampin' Up! Things you can find at my website, latenightlori.stampinup.net. We've got a virtual album retreat. I ordered mine and it looks like it's shipped already, so I'm excited about that. Ordering started on the 18th. The retreat is the end of April, so we've got some time to get prepped. This is on a YouTube or a Facebook platform. There's 10 two-page spreads. The number of products you get with this, I'm really excited. I kind of missed this the other night when I was first looking at it, but there's 2 stamp sets, and it looks like there should be dies. I'm not sure because it looks like there's, I don't know, but it says 2 stamp sets, designer series paper, 2-tone cardstock. The designer series paper is single-sided. It usually has the cutting guides on the back of it, so the cardstock for sure will have the cutting guides on it. There's some pre-cut images, there's stickers, there's embellishments, linen thread, a golden glow glimmer shimmer brush, golden glow shimmer brush. So that's one of the new in colors. There's going to be a white gel pen. There's memory protectors, flip flaps, photo place card holders. There's a lot of stuff. Hello, Rosa. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And then, you know, our product of the month. I don't know if I was going to use this tonight, but then I came across another sample that I think I want to do before I forget to do it too. This is going to be in my face for a little bit, so I'm going to set that aside. Remember, we've got catalogs heading out on May 4th. So our mini catalog is on its way out. The annual catalog, it's on its way out on May 4th, which includes the 2024 to 2026 in colors. So that means Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, and Pretty in Pink are on their way out. If there are elements of those colors that you want, order them now before they're gone, if they're not already gone. And then we have a new catalog coming. And this is going to release on May 5th. So those other catalogs end on the 4th. There'll be a little switch over time. May 5th, this catalog starts. If you are on my team or if you're a demonstrator on your own, the pre-order will start on Tuesday. For us, we get about 6 weeks before the catalog releases so that we can get products in our hands and start working on them. So that'll be fun. And I got some happy mail today. So, Susan Johnson, thank you for the card. And blueberry bushel stickers because she remembered hearing me say that this one didn't have the sticker for the inside. So bless her heart. Well, I probably shouldn't say bless her heart because Southern hospitality, that's not necessarily a good thing, is it? Thank you very much. Suzanne, not Susan, Suzanne, sorry. So thank you so much for this. And I'm going to put this right in here right now because that was exciting. And I love the card. The plaid, the simplicity of the design. It's just like a comfort card there. So that was so nice to receive. Very, very nice. So you're welcome and thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, so let's see here. It depends on the way you say it. Oh, okay. It does depend on the way you say it. So very good. Thank you so much. This was such a nice surprise to see that coming in the mail. I knew on my informed delivery that it was coming, but your note inside was very sweet, and I thought it was very thoughtful of you to send those. So now this is complete. I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much. Happy mail is fun. Sometimes I forget to show that happy mail, and I need to be better about that. I definitely need to be better about that. So I also received a comment on the cards that we made. Flip Flop Princess. I don't know if she's here or if she'll come in, but she watched the video and she gave, she left 3 comments actually. She didn't realize how the blender pens could pick up color. So I thought that was great that I was able to show something that was new. It's always fun to share ideas and, you know, if we can glean something new out of it. I've learned lots of new things with some of these, like the virtual card retreat, the virtual album retreat. Learned lots of fun things. And then she also suggested, I'm just getting some of these other little pieces over here because I might use those. She also suggested that on this card that she would have used Balmy Blue and did some ink blending before putting the sentiment and the hummingbirds on there. And I think that really would have stepped up that card a little bit. So if I make more, that would have like prettied up that gray a little bit, right? So these were the cards we made, not last night, but the night before last. Last night we did this little impromptu shaker card. And I apologize that I used some retired elements. I used some of those brushed brass butterflies. I used some of those Memory and More cards, but it was still fun. I mean, you could still use some designer series paper or something to make something very similar. But that was kind of fun. And then we did our envelope the same. So tonight, I'm going to move these things out of the way. I am going to kind of use a sketch that I saw from Stampin' Up! And use the Delicate Whispers with the paper pumpkin stuff. So let me find a card base. Here we go. We got a card base. We have a card base here, and I have this other card front that I pulled off. So I think I'm going to use that because what I did was I just kind of sketched what they had done. So we'll see how it works. We'll see how it looks Lori style, you know. So I'm going to get, I think, the Spotlight on Nature. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's see, Spotlight on Nature. We could do a nice little circle on there. Let's see if that's still something that's going through. Okay, so Spotlight on Nature dies are still good. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is pull some of these out, and we are going to make a circle here. And I think we're going to use that one. That might be a good size. We might be able to go a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe we'll do that one. We'll do that one. I've got to poke some of these things out of here though. So how is everybody today? Allie, welcome. I didn't even ask. I was just so busy to get started because I was late. And Juju, I caught you this afternoon. I was surprised at that. We were on our way to get our granddaughter from school, only to get a phone call from the school 20 minutes before release time that said, oh, Riley doesn't feel good. She wants to get picked up. It's like 20 minutes before the end of the school day. I thought that was kind of crazy. So she had a sore throat, so we picked her up. She was going to stay over here tonight, but she decided she wanted to go home. So we took her by her mom instead. All right, we got all that. So let's get rid of this debris. Let me pull over my cart so I don't have to disrupt this all the time. And we'll get the stamp and cut and emboss machine set up. So did anybody have a date night at all tonight, being Friday night? MacMan and I had a date night. It was going to be a date night with our granddaughter, but yeah, hopefully she'll feel better. Hopefully it's not strep throat. Hopefully it's just a little bug or something. But we went out for fish fry. Oh, you're doing dishes. That sounds very glamorous. I'm sure your hands will look wonderful when you're done. We went out for fish fry, and then we decided to go to a couple of stores. So I was looking for like a shadow box frame to put our little, we get shot glasses when we go places as our souvenirs, just to memorialize where we've been. Not that we drink a lot of shots, but they're small, you know, and they're relatively inexpensive. So I wanted to get a couple of frames for those. Well, the store didn't have them. And then we ended up walking around. So we went to Michael's for the frames. They didn't have them. I ended up ordering them off online. They were cheaper anyway. And then we went to Hobby Lobby and walked around there. And look at what I found. These little itty bitty sand dollars that I'm going to put on some scrapbook pages. I think there's just 5 of them, but I don't need very many. So I thought those were kind of cool. When we do some of our travels, I'm going to put those on a scrapbook page. So Allie, you're doing cards for your video. Rose is doing dishes. Sounds all very exciting, ladies. Oh, and Suzanne, you worked on taxes all day. Oh, wow. Yeah, that does not sound fun. I need to get ours taken care of. I always tell myself I'm going to do it right away, like in February after we've gotten all of our tax statements, and here we are, you know, most of the way through March. All right, so let me get this going, because you all probably didn't come to listen to me just chit-chat. You want to see some crafting going on. So let's put this on here, and we're going to cut out a little hole here. And then we're going to find some pretty paper. Oh, and then I need to show you too, I got my pre-order stuff from On Stage already. I was shocked because I just got back last week, right? When did I get back? Monday. I got it already. And this is Friday. That was crazy. I did not pay for expedited shipping. I'm impressed. I didn't realize how quickly that happened. Wow. It just occurred to me that it was just this week we got back. That's amazing. So anyway, I will show you those things. I got one suite, a bundle, and an element sheet and a new plate. And that's about all I could order. There was something else I think I could have ordered. And I quite honestly don't remember what it was, and I don't think I can find it now because I can't order anymore anyway. Because not until Tuesday. So anyway, all right, so let's get this out of the way. Oh, I guess that I'm not even going to use. Let's get these put away. I feel like I'm a little scattered right now. Old packaging. All right, I'm a little warm. I have my ceiling fan on. But let's find some pretty little paper. What is it going to be? I want something kind of subtle. Let's see if there's something in this. Oh, not that one. Because I haven't used much of this for a bit. I think maybe that would be pretty. Let's just cut about 4 inches off of here. And then we'll kind of make it look almost sunset-ish. What do you think? You don't know, right? Because you don't know what I have in my head. Except that little sketch that I kind of showed you. So I'm going to cut it off right about here. All right, and then we'll cut this just a little narrower. Let's see if that's narrow enough. I just don't want it to hang over the edges. That ought to be good. All right. And then this is going to go on here. This is going to get raised up a little bit, and we're going to use the Delicate Whispers, and we're going to frame our circle, and we're going to put a sentiment in here because that's what I have on here, and we're going to stamp these little flowers on here. We're going to make a little background thing, so let's have at it. So with this paper pumpkin kit, because I'm using the card base, it's kind of an alternative, right, Allie? If I'm using some of the elements, that's considered an alternate. We could use maybe one of the hummingbirds. We'll see. That could be very pretty. Maybe we'll use one of those. Because there'll be some flowers on here. We'll see. I have a sweatshirt on. I wish I had a t-shirt on under it. Phew. So the paper pumpkin kit has all of these colors in it. We're not going to use all of these. But I do think I want to maybe add a little blue. I think I'm going to follow the advice of Flip Flop Princess. And we're going to add a little balmy blue. Probably to, let me get some scrap. We're going to add a little bit to this. Not a whole lot, but just a little. And then we'll put a little bit of blue on this as well. So what's everybody working on? Allie, you're working on stuff for your video, right? Anybody else? I could probably make it a little darker, a little further down. I don't want to lose that pink hue though. I kind of like that. Oh, and I don't want to make the yellow too green either. That's a risk with the blue and the yellow. We'll put just a little more blue here. It might turn it purple. All right, I think we'll leave well enough alone. Maybe just a little bit more on the frame up here. All right. And then we need some pieces of white. Juju, you're just sitting there, huh? How's your leg doing? Elevate. Ice it. So we're going to do a couple of sprigs here. We're going to do, I think, which ones have the dies? All right, so let's take a look at the dies. Suzanne, I think Allie has said before that she records them and then posts them. Well, so Suzanne, the thing is, I think you just start doing them and then you figure out when you, yeah, see, Juju said the same thing, just do it. Just start putting them on and you'll see when you have more people. You know, Juju, sometime I've seen, she's got lots of people. I usually get maybe up to a dozen at a time, but then I get people watching the replay. So, you know, depending on when they're coming on to watch you, you can always adjust your time. You know, I was trying to come on earlier. That's the one for the flowers there. That, I think that's what I want to use. I was coming on a little bit earlier, but then when Juju's group rated me, which was awesome, I discovered that she was going on at 10. So then I would try to go into hers sometimes, and then I didn't want to go too early and then have a conflict, because who wants to do that? So mine just kind of got later and later. That's why I'm on around midnight. So yeah, do what works for you, like Juju said. All right, so let's get busy here. We're going to do some of these little mini flowers. We're going to create kind of a background on this piece. And I think we're going to do maybe Stamped Off in the gray, because this is Smoky Slate. Let's see how dark these are full strength. And then let's see what they look like stamped off. Oh, I think I want them full strength. So we'll just start putting some of those on here. And I'll wipe off my glass mat in a minute. And I either move my card around or I move my stamp around. Sometimes it's just easier to move the card around so that your design isn't obviously the same, you know? Because you don't want it to just look like it's the same repeated design. This might be a lot of flowers, but it is what it is now. Okay. So let's get rid of that. So when you're doing your lives, whatever time you start, you can always change it. So that's a lot, but I think it'll be all right. We'll see. If we don't like it, I'll do a different one next time. Okay, and I guess I need these two now. Well, I use my camera too. And yes, that will work. I have my camera up above to do all the video. Then I have my iPad that I've got an Arcan stand. So it's got a heavy base. It's got a holder for my iPad. And then it's got the arc over the top to hold my camera. They have all different kinds. So I can see the comments on my iPad, but it's too difficult to type. So I turn the volume all the way down on my iPad once I've determined that there's sound. And then I also have my computer off to the side of me, so I'm logged into YouTube on both of those. And then if I want to type a comment, that's just more efficient for me to type on the keyboard than trying to type on the itty bitty little keyboard that's on my iPad. And I mute the computer one as well. So you just want to make sure you have only got volume on your phone, your recording device, because otherwise you're going to get feedback and you're going to hear yourself, and that's too distracting. All right, so this will work. And we're going to do this in, what color should we do that in? Maybe early espresso, because that's what the hummingbird is outlined in. That might be kind of dark. That's nice. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this one out, and we'll see how much space we have if I flip over that paper to do the mirrored one. We're going to add some color to this, I think. All right, let me run this through the machine. Hopefully it'll run through nicely for me. So that setup's how you do Whatnot. I'm not familiar with Whatnot. I just go live on YouTube. I don't stream through another, like there's like StreamYard. You can do it through Zoom, I think. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but I just do YouTube because it's free. It doesn't cost me anything. I know like StreamYard, or is it Streamlabs? StreamYard? Juju, I don't know what you use. Oh, I need that block, but I don't need this right now. I need this one. And I think YouTube, or I think Facebook doesn't allow you to use like Zoom. You use YouTube with your desktop, okay. It doesn't have to be sexy, you know, it just has to be, you know? All right, so then this is the one I need for here. Just do it. I was afraid to start with the lives. I, in fact, started recording, and then my phone ran out of memory space, so then I didn't have enough followers on Facebook, because they changed it where you needed a minimum of 100, and I didn't have that at the time. And I do now, but they only keep lives up for 30 days, so what's the point, right? Because if I have to download them and then upload them, it's just extra work, and I don't really want the extra work. All right, so these will be pretty. So let's kind of eyeball to, and I have light pants on today, so I can't rub my hands on my pants. Let's move this out of the way. I'm gonna put these on the magnets so that I don't lose them. Let's get some of these blocks out of here because they're just messing me up. All right. So if we do something like this, and Allie was the one that mentioned to me that the Delicate Whispers kind of coordinated with this. I think that can work. I just have to make sure that those pieces don't go over the edge. And I'm not sure where that line came from. Oh, it came from the full strength one. That's all right. We'll use some color on here. I think that'll work. And then if we put the little hummingbird on here, and then we can put some of these on here. Oh, I should probably restamp these though, because these are in, I think those are in Secret C. I should probably do them so they're all in the same early espresso. And then we'll get to coloring and we'll put some words on here. Maybe just hello friend, huh? That might work. When I see that, I think of Allie because she's always saying, hello friends, goodbye friends. And I think that's great. All right, so let's get this straight on here. And let's do hello friend right here, because if I mess it up, then we can always replace it because it's not glued down yet. Beautiful. Although part of the end looks like it didn't take. No, that's how the end is. That's weird. All right, so if you do a live on YouTube, will it just upload by itself? Yes, so here's the thing though. When you do a live on YouTube, when you end the live, it's gonna go automatically to private. And when I was first starting, the people who give advice on how to do YouTube said, let YouTube cycle it for like 24 hours because they'll kind of analyze your content and see what audience would be interested in your content. So then they would ship it out to the people who would have interest in it. Okay, does that make sense? So I have just gotten into the habit. I usually let mine sit for almost 24 hours. And then I will go into the settings and I will change it to public. You always want to mark it that it's not suitable for children. If it says something like that. Because then there's extra analyzing if you said it's made for children, because they're going to make sure that you're not putting bad content out there for kids, right? All right, so let's see. Oh, I need to do some of these. Let's get that. I need to get these taken care of. I don't want to lose those. Yes, I do not use my phone memory for my videos on YouTube. I did when I was doing them on Facebook, because I would save them on my phone, then I would upload them to Facebook, and then I was afraid of deleting them because I didn't want to, if they came off my device, I didn't want them to come off of my Facebook because I'm not really technologically advanced. I'm just pretty basic. So I didn't want to risk it. So I left all those videos on there, and then you lose all of the memory on your device. Juju, at least you give a disclaimer at the beginning. You warn people. It's all good. All right. So I think we can stamp a couple of these. Now, do I need to stamp these off or should I leave them full strength? We'll just leave them full. It's easier. And I want just a couple of flowers too, so let me find another scrap. Probably should have just stamped them straight on. All right. So now let's go ahead and glue this piece on here. In fact, I think I'm going to use, no, I'll use glue because it's a little more forgiving. And this is all gunky. I think it got gunky from my class yesterday. I try to give my senior ladies two-sided tape, the tear and tape, because they do better with it. When they do glue, they get glue all over because they squeeze too hard. I did find once it's on YouTube, it's there forever. Yeah, and since I go live, I don't worry about it. I don't save on my phone at all because I'm not recording. So this needs to be turned just a little bit, I think. Does that look crooked or does that look straight? It looks a little crooked to me. I think that's all right now, huh? Yeah, hopefully this will all cover because that is a little tilted now. I could always try to trim some of this off if I needed to, but I think it'll be fine. Of course, I could always put a layer behind there. I think it'll be all right. I don't think it'll be all right. I think some of this is going to show. So we're just going to trim off a triangle. Now I think it'll be all right. I know enough tech to get by or to just get frustrated. All right, and then we're going to put some adhesive strips on here, and I think that will help camouflage that layer underneath. Her channel's Craftin on the Back 40. But I suppose if you just did a Google for Mama Juju, that it might come up that way too. I really like these strips. They make it so easy. Oh, Juju sometimes has adult content. Questionable language. Inappropriate jokes for children. Nothing horrendous, just questionable. Now I could make this into a shaker card too, but we just did that yesterday, so I'm not going to. Oops, that needs to go like so. All right, I think we're done with that. F-bombs, yeah, I've heard a couple of those, I think. Oh, Juju, did you see in the update, you're going to get 2 packs of Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up! Did you know that? Congrats to you. All right, that's gonna go there. Let's get some color going here. Let's stop wasting time. Oh, here's that other hummingbird. All right, let's stop wasting time. Let's get some color in here. We're gonna do, I think we'll do some Gorgeous Grape. And I'm gonna use that blender pen again. Let's see if I can find the one with the Gorgeous Grape tip. There. And let's get a block. And do a little coloring. That's kind of dark. I wonder if I should get a lighter color. Oh well, they'll be pretty. I won't do them all this color. Some of these, because this is so dark, you're not even going to see the lines for the flowers. They'll just look like flower blobs, but that's all right. I'll keep it on the ones that have petals, I guess. It is like hanging out with a bunch of girlfriends. And you should be able to say what you want and, you know, not feel like somebody's going to judge you or be mad at you for anything. I feel like those of you that follow me here are like my peeps. And that doesn't mean it takes the place of, you know, getting together with my other friends, because I do things in person too. But, you know, trying to keep up with the comments and that, and people share things about what's going on, and whether it's happy things or sad things, you know, it's just nice to know you've got a community of people that that get you. All right, so let's do a little bit here too. I think we're gonna do maybe just a little. That's kind of pretty. And then as I get some of the ink off of there, it gets lighter. I feel so artistic sometimes, because heaven knows I'm not a painter. Although when I take a class, I do okay, because they're telling you step by step what to do. You know, use this color, mix these, put about a palette full of this on this and mix it in, and it's kind of pretty. Just don't be discouraged if you don't have hundreds of people subscribing to your channel right away, because it takes time. You know, I created my channel a number of years ago, but I didn't ever really do anything with it until January of 2025. That's when I started doing stuff pretty much every day. And then I saw a jump in viewership, but it still takes time. Those are pretty. I think we're just going to stick with the same color here. It's getting kind of light. And then too, don't get disappointed if you come live and you only have like 1 or 2 people. You know, there are times when I've only got maybe 1 who's communicating. There might be a couple that are sitting there watching or letting it play, and that gives me view time, you know, it gives me watch hours, which is great. It helps with the algorithm. But it takes time. Yeah, what Juju just said. I don't know what I did with my little scrap piece. I can't tell if my camera's a little crooked. My mat looks straight. I don't know if that's the right way to make that go. Nope. Wrong way. All right, so let's get some leafy green going here. I'll use old owls for that. And let's get the block on here. Yeah, sometimes the boys show up. Sometimes you wonder why they show up, because you wonder if they're actually crafters or stalkers. Well, I'm glad they look good from there too. I could probably zoom in. Is it close enough? Do you want me to zoom in, or are we good? Sometimes I don't look up often enough. I'm looking at the comments and I don't necessarily look at the screen on how it's visible. Now we could use alcohol markers as well, but this is just a nice technique too. And I could also use colored pencils, because these blends work good with the watercolor pencils. But this is just a fun technique also. All right, and then let's do this one. I know this is a little time consuming, but it's kind of relaxing for me. So Allie, you started your channel 8 years ago. Yeah, it's all what you have time for, you know, and sometimes life gets in the way. When I started my channel, it was because my team leader at the time had somebody on who was also a demonstrator. Wasn't on her team, but it was a friend, and you know, they were talking about, you know, all the social media stuff, and you should do it. So, you know, I got together with them and set it up and kind of learned a couple of things, but then, you know, I didn't do anything with it for a while. All right, I think that's good. Where did my cap go? Here it is. So I think what I want to do is get another color. And I think I want it to be, maybe we'll do, I wonder if Pretty in Pink or Petal Pink. Oh, maybe that's Peach Pie. Juju, you binge watched Allie? Or you need to binge watch her? Let's get another little block. You need to, yeah. Allie's got a nice calming voice on her videos. Oh, and I forgot I have to do more green there. Where did my green go? Green's here. I'm gonna have to add, I think, a little bit of water. Just because this is getting a little dry. Now I could do this as a water painter. Now this is not watercolor paper, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work because it's not going to soak it in. I'm just going to go back to the blending pencil or the blending brush because I don't want that to get all smeary. It's soaking into the paper too much. All right, so that'll be good. We'll figure it out. I thought I was going to end up having a darker line kind of down the center to make it look like I had veins in the leaves, but that one didn't quite turn out that way. But that's all right. And I don't know if I can add more onto this one since it's kind of wet. It might be all right, but it won't look quite like the others. I might end up just using the flower on this one instead of the leaves. That might be all right. Because there's not water in here. I don't know if it's glycerin or what they put inside the blender pens. All right, so that'll work. And then these I'm just going to do as flowers. So let's try the peach pie. And oh, I already did that. Let's try the peach pie and see how that looks. I think that'll look good with that hummingbird. And I'm just going to fussy cut those flowers, so I'm not going to do the leaves on these. But then I should also cut out just a couple of more sprig pieces with the dies. And see how that looks. For now, I'm just going to do 2 of these. So the blender, you get 3 in a pack for the blender pens, just so you know. And they're 2 tipped, so the tips are the same on each end. So it's kind of like having 6. All right. Let's just put these off to the side, and I'm gonna fussy cut. Juju, I bet you were wondering, why isn't she fussy cutting yet? Oh, and I'm still gonna need to put some color on the other flowers here. Thank you, Allie. I think I'm going to try to cut these a little snug against the line. I think they'll look better. Do you need to dedicate color them to a family? They clean off pretty good. So once you start just brushing them, once you have no more color coming off, like this one, even though the tip is stained, I'm really not getting any color coming off anymore. There's just a little bit. So you just keep going until it's clean, and then you're good to pick up another color. I think they work fine. It's different from the blending brushes. I have mine pretty much dedicated to color. Some people have those dedicated to family color, or color family rather. But I don't like, because I don't wash mine out between uses, I just keep them dedicated. I don't want the colors to mix. Now, do I have a die for, I think there's a die for this. There is a die for that. Why am I doing this hard part? I could be cutting most of the flower. Here I'm fussy cutting, and I could have cut most of the flower with a die and just cut off the sprig. All right, the next one, we'll do smarter, not harder. Although that's going to end up with more of a white border, I think. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to end up with a white border. Oh, well. Anything to make Juju happy when she sees me fussy cutting. I think it makes her happy. All right, so let's go ahead and cut these out quick. And I need my Post-it tape. Juju always seems to want to make me fussy cut. Because she knows it's not my thing. Sometimes Stampin' Up! Will give us multiple dies for some of the smaller images. I wish they would have given us multiple dies for these, because then I could cut them out twice as fast. There's those, and then we've got this one, and I'm just going to trim off the foliage part because I just want the flower part. So I'm just going to trim around here, and we'll cut off this stem and the leaves, and then we'll just have the flower. There. All right, and then I need to add some of, I don't remember what pen I was using. This one. I need to add some of the peach pie to these flowers so they kind of go together. Did I mention, Allie was the one that mentioned the other day that the Delicate Whispers would go well with this paper pumpkin kit. So I had pulled it out right then and there, and I think I'm just going to add a little bit of color to those little sprigs there. They could be green, but they're going to be different. Hello, Nicole. Welcome. Thank you. It's good to be back. The bed was not at all comfortable where we stayed. Unfortunately, everything else about the place was good, and on stage was a blast. It always is. And I got my pre-order stuff already, so that was pretty exciting. And I don't know if we're going to use any of these little flowers or not. Whoops. I know! Paper pumpkin is available. You won't be able to get any of the past kits that are available going forward. You will, but you just can't go backwards is my understanding. But how fun for you guys to finally get those. Do we think these flowers will work with this, or do you think that will be too much? Because we've got this other little flower that goes with it, but let's go back to this now and just see. I can actually stick this on here because we don't need it up for anything. Other markets can't get the March kit. Theirs starts April, I'm pretty sure. Is that correct? I think yours starts April 1st. So you'll have from April 1st to April 10th because they've got to get supply because they'll get shipped out from your market. They won't ship out from the United States. But either way, it's pretty exciting. Yay for you guys, for you gals. Okay, this is going to go here. I'm going to cut this little piece off of here because it's really bothering me. That was from the full strength piece that I did. And I think that looks kind of silly. I just can't have these flower edges going over the edge of the card. So I think that'll be all right like that. I think that makes it. And then we're going to put some of these on here and just add some pizzazz. Yeah. And we'll put a couple of these. That'll conceal the stem. That'll be good. What do you think? And then we'll put a little hummingbird in here. So that's from our paper pumpkin. And I think we'll put the hummingbird like right in the window on the base. What do you think? Because I don't want the hummingbird to get lost. I want that to kind of be a little bit of the star of the show. Thank you, Nicole. It's technically a paper pumpkin alternative. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of glue around the edge of here. So mine, of course, looks a little different from the sample that I saw, but that's kind of the idea. We edit things. We don't necessarily copy them verbatim, if you will. And then I'm going to slide a dimensional under there, I think, to hold that up. So I'm going to take the backing off. I'm going to pull this up out of here. And come on. I'm just going to tuck that up under here to hold that up a little bit so it's not collapsing. And we'll put one over here. Okay. And then we can do the same thing with here. We'll put some glue around the edge. Yeah, this was another fly by the seat of our pants night. Because I get to doing things, putzing around the house, and, you know, I was looking at my order because I didn't look at it earlier today. MacMan didn't even realize that the UPS guy had come. He's like, when did that get here? I'm like, when you were outside, when you probably should have seen him but didn't. I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of here because I'm going to let that hang a little bit over the edge. Good night, Juju. Thanks for hanging out with us. And enjoy your Saturday. Oops, I guess I have to take the backing off of there, don't I? Now it'll stick. And then maybe we'll put this over here. Oh, who are you saying goodnight to? Oh, is Rosa leaving? No, oh, she must. I'm behind on the comments. All right. Good night, Rosa, or whoever left. Maybe Yuta. Was Yuta here? Yuta usually leaves early too. All right, a little bit more glue. All right, so this one we'll just kind of put here. And then we'll add another one over here. Rose is going to bed, all right. The night is yet young. It's only 1:15 here. Put that there. What do you think? Is it more balanced if I put that other gorgeous grape one down here maybe? Is that better down there? Nicole, you do like that beach time with your daughter, don't you? I think that's awesome. Sausage in a bun? Oh, any kind of food sounds pretty good. Picnic lunch, that's awesome. I'll have to travel vicariously through you. I'll have to look up some of these places that you mentioned and go see them. It does sound like she had a lovely day. All right, we're not going to use these. I don't think I want to use these because I think they just look too cartoonish compared to the other ones. So I'm not going to use those. But I am going to put this one up. Maybe I'll put that up on a little dimensional. And I'll try to put it in between where I've got it lifted already. So when it goes through the Postal Service, that'll be good. And then we'll put a little bit on the edge here. And another one on the edge over here, I think. And then a little glue. The Surf Life-Saving Clubs have sausage sizzle. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. So we call them hot dogs. That sounds like good beach food. All right, so those are good. We're not going to use these. We're not going to use these. I'm going to get those up out of the way. And then we are going to use some Wink of Stella. Hello, Robert. Oh, how did that happen? My whole brush tip came off. That's weird. That was weird. All right, so let's glam up our hummingbird for sure. Because the hummingbirds around here, when they're in the sun, they're pretty spectacular. And then we're going to add some shimmer here. Wink of Stella here too. We'll add it to all these flowers, the big ones. I could probably add it to some of the little ones too on those sprigs. That might be pretty. I was almost hoping my Wink of Stella was going to pick up some of that gorgeous grape and mix it in with that peach pie, but it didn't. Let's just add a little bit of shimmer to these flowers too. There. That's pretty cool. Now we need some kind of embellishments, right? I think they could go in the flowers. So I think I'm just going to use rhinestones. Cap. We'll just use little rhinestones. We'll just add to the shimmer of the Wink of Stella. So Nicole, Erin is your daughter's name, 19. That's kind of a good age. They're a little more independent at that point, but maybe still think they know everything, but they're getting to the age where they can be more friends. Juju, your son turned 19 today. Happy birthday to your son. You fainted? Oh no. What caused you to faint? Do you know? That can be scary, you know. Free ride in an ambulance is not a fun thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How fun is that? All right, so I think I want to put some of this on the inside of the card. What happened to my early espresso? There it is. And I am going to stamp this off. And we're just going to put that there. And we'll put this one here. Thank you, Suzanne. Oh, yeah. Hot, no breeze. You gotta hydrate. When you're out in that kind of stuff, you definitely need to hydrate. All right, let me put a couple of these things away so that I don't lose them. And then let's do a little bit of color in here. So the other thing you can do, I don't know if you've ever done that before either. You can use your Wink of Stella. Of course, the new shimmer pens that we're getting, you won't need to, but you can use your Wink of Stella to pick up ink like this too, and then you automatically have shimmer. And you would basically have to clean off your brush the same way. And then let's do, I need to get another scrap piece. And then we'll use some of this. And we could probably stamp that on our envelope too. I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. Oh, I'm just now seeing the comment about the gin, and you meant grin. All right, so let's do some green. We'll get these leaves done. Now this is a nice time not to use the alcohol blends because it'll go through your paper, which is why I was using the blender pen yesterday or the day before, whenever I was doing it. I don't know when I was doing it, I don't remember. And then we'll just add a little bit of green there. And then let me go get some Daffodil Delight, I think. And I'll do the centers. Yeah, I'm excited about the felt pads. Everybody's seen me show off these felt pads, right? Look at that, one-handed. I love it. There's magnets in here. They're big. The pads are a little bit narrower, a little bit longer, so they'll fit in kind of the standard Stampin' Up! Storage and the Stampin' Storage and the Stampin' Up! Storage. These will sit like this. If you like to put ink in your wells, you can still squeeze them to do that if you want. I'm really looking forward to the new ink pads. All right, let me go get some Daffodil Delight. I'll wash those off in a minute. But I want to fill in the centers. To just kind of finish those off because I don't want to put rhinestones on the inside. All right, and then let's get an envelope. And yeah, I will definitely be getting all of them as they become available. And then the new shimmer pens are coming in all of the new in colors. We'll be able to pre-order those in March. I mean, in April. No, next week in March. Yes. All right, we're getting there. We don't want naked envelopes. No naked envelopes. Okay, where'd my scrap go? Yeah, I've been looking forward to those new stamp pads since I first saw them from close to my heart. And I knew that Stampin' Up! Had purchased some of the product rights. So I was really hoping that they were going to release them, and they did not let me down. So excited. Need a little bit more green in here. pretty good. You got Happy Mail from Lawn Fawn. Juju, did you get some Happy Mail from her too? I don't remember. That's a business, right? It's not just an individual. All right, so there's our card, our alternative. So we did the March Paper Pumpkin, which is Fluttering Garden, and we incorporated the Delicate Whispers stamp set and dies, so that was a bundle. And we didn't use all of the colors, but here's the colors from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So that's some of what that hummingbird is from. But that turned out pretty cool. Let me get those out of the way. Who wants to see some of my pre-order stuff? Because I'm going to show it either way. If you don't want to see it, you just can close your eyes. But we have this new, they're calling it a plate. They're calling it an impressions plate. But it's not a plate in the conventional way. Sneaky peeks, yes. It is similar to a plate or a foam piece that Stampin' Up! Had a number of years ago to use dies to make impressions on paper and cut them. So what we did at On Stage, do I have my sample handy? My sample is somewhere. I showed it when I got back. But basically you run your die through the normal sandwich, all right? But then before you take the paper out, you turn it over, you put this mat on it, and you run it through, and then it puts more embossing on the image, your die cut. So it's kind of like having a hybrid embossing folder, but you only have to use the die. So, excuse me, my understanding is there's going to be special dies for that have extra detail on them. And I didn't order the dies that we practiced with. I don't know if it wasn't available on the pre-order or if I just missed them in my haste to get an order put in because I didn't want to forget to do it. I don't know. All right. So that's one thing that's coming. And that's pretty cool. When I find my sample, I'll try to pull it out and show. Yeah, I don't know where it went. But then we have a couple of other things. Yeah, the silicone mat was kind of another method to do it. The other plate, in fact, let me go grab it. So this was some embossing. That was a different shim and 2 mats. So this was what was used with the Big Shot. And now we've got the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines, so they're different thicknesses. So if you have the old way, I wouldn't recommend using it with a new machine because if it's not designed for your new machine and something breaks on it, you void the warranty. So be careful with that. And you could ruin your dies too. All right, so here is one of the new bundles. So there's all these different sentiments. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I'll let you kind of take a look. So there's some anniversaries in here, a couple of anniversaries, birthday wishes, just having a good day sort of thing. And then there's these frames. So the neat thing about these frames is, let's say you want to do frames on a piece of gold. See how they all nest together with a little border around them? You can run these all through at the same time and you will have all of these individual frames and you can conserve your paper. So this is Susan's bundle. Oh, Susan Campfield, yes. Well, it's her die set, or her stamp set. The dies, they don't ever list that I've seen. I don't ever see them list the die as part of the $1 Million Achiever, but this is, yes, Sue Campfield. And she's such a sweet person. But demonstrators that achieve $1 million in career sales get to work with the Stampin' Up! People, and they get to do a $1 million Achiever stamp set. So she wanted to have all of these different sentiments on here. So, oh, and it says right there, Susan Campfield. But they made these dies to coordinate with some of the stuff. And anybody want me to run these through right now? A piece of cardstock? I could. Let's run it through on black. Since I still have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine set up. We'll run this through. And sometimes I've done just like this, and I'll run it through my machine so that they're all on here, and then it kind of puts an impression on my paper. It makes it a little harder to go through the machine, but sometimes it's just easier. So let's see how I do. If I stagger my plates, hopefully it'll be all right. Beautiful. All right. So there's the dies. I left them all on the piece. So when I take these off of here, you can see, hopefully you can kind of see there's an impression on there. So you can kind of see what you're missing for your dies when you do that. Sometimes it doesn't work because they're too close. They're too close on the backing piece. But now look at all of these frames. So we've got this that you could make a nice layer for like a memory keeping page and have a photo behind here. That's kind of an interesting little starburst design, don't you think? And then you've got this frame. So that's pretty. And then you have what would be considered like a void space. But you could certainly use that to frame something for memory keeping if you wanted. But then this frame has some design in it. I don't know that you can see it, but it's got some texture in there. This again would be a void space. But you know, you could actually do some paper piecing with this too, by using all of these different pieces. And then you've got this one, and this has like a little starburst design. There's lines that go through there kind of in that little starburst. More little void space. And then here's the other little oval piece. So those are all very cute. I'm gonna hang on to those pieces because I can use those. All right, so those coordinate. It's part of the bundle for the phrases and frames. All right, so I'm just going to shove this all in here. So that's phrases and frames. Okay. And then we also have these floral flight accents. Now, if you remember, there is another piece. You only get one sheet of these. These were the covered in flowers accents. And I haven't used very many of these. I need to probably use some because they'll probably get discontinued before I use them all. But here we've got all of these elements, and some of them are pretty big, but look at all these, the details. They're all laser cut. And it's heavy. It's not flimsy paper. But these go with a bundle. There's a bunch of pieces to pop out here. So this is a new item coming. So they're kind of like ephemera pieces, but you get a sheet of them. So you kind of get the idea where it's going here. There's going to be flowers coming out here in a second. I don't want to like belabor this, but you can kind of see what's going on here. All right. So you can kind of see the detail. I don't have all of the pieces popped out yet. But even some of these little pieces here will come out. But those will make really pretty elements. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a butterfly. And all the little pieces come out. So there's 1, 2, looks like 2 butterflies, 3 butterflies, some flowers, some foliage pieces. These butterflies are pretty. Those will have punch-out pieces. There's some hearts, some smaller hearts. So these will be nice for memory keeping or for cards or for journaling. I think they'll be very versatile. So yeah. So you can see these are all just kind of even almost falling out. So I got one with my suite, and then I ordered one as a standalone product because we're limited when we have a pre-order. We can usually only order 1 of most things and 2 of some things. Yeah, that black silhouette might be coming to your house. Yeah. They're very pretty. So you can see all those little pieces. All right, so I think I'm done punching those out. Here's another flower, the hearts. I don't want to lose any of those. We'll have to play with that. So I have 2 of those because I thought they were very pretty in the black. Now, these that came in the very vanilla or whatever color this is, oh, it says it's white. You could do blending brushes on them to make them any color. These, not so much. Although, you could, with a gel pen, you know, let's say on like this piece that's got the little knobbies on there, you could add some gel highlights. And that would be very pretty. You know, you could do that around the edges. So I think the black will be pretty versatile too. All right, let's get this off of here. All right, on to the next thing. So that's part of this suite. And this comes with a bundle. So Bordered in Beauty, there are dies. Now this has like a file folder die. It's got, oh, Versamark embossing powders. Yeah, good ideas, Susanna. So this has label dies, border dies, these butterfly dies that will cut out the butterfly image. All right. Like the file folder tab. This is just a nice border that it'll cut the edge of the paper off. Let me get another piece of cardstock and run these through so you can kind of see what that looks like. Okay. So I put it on the edge of the paper this way, but look at that. Let me get my take your pick tool. So look at that. Because there's only a cutting edge on this edge, there's no cutting edge on this edge. So it just lines, it makes a scalloped edge on your paper. So you can see, if I got these all punched out, how pretty that would be. All right, so you get the idea. So that'll be very pretty. You've got a heart border that does the same thing. This looks like it'll make, I'll have to play with these a little bit. This is scalloped edges, scalloped edges. I'll have to look and see what this one does. It almost looks like it's going to make like a pocket slit. You'll just go put your card in the freezer. What did I miss? I missed something there, but all right, so that's these. Let me put this back on here. Oh, let's get these couple of pieces out of here. All right, so those will be fun. I kind of like the file folder one. This would be fun for journaling, I think. And then you've got like the tag to do this, I think. Let's take a look at these. So yeah, that die will work there. That die works there. That die works there. You've got like a little chevron. You got some zigzagging going on. This will be fun to play with. I think these butterflies are adorable. Where's Vicky? Vicky likes the butterflies. Oh, you can't. I get it. All right, so that's that bundle. Now that goes with this paper. Take a look at this paper. Whoops, I got another. So excited, I'm just making such a mess. Let me get this stuff moved over. See, there's too much new stuff. I'm glad that we can't order it all at once. With our product purchase premiere, there were like, I don't know, 7 things we could order. Not very many things at all. And I think that's probably a very good thing because I would have spent a lot of money. There's a lot of cute things I'm looking at. All right, so this paper is adorable. I'm going to pull it out of here. I was just going to leave it in, but it's really pretty. And so we've got Basic Black, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Real Red, and Timid Tiger. So no new colors in here. But look at this. Isn't that fun? That could almost be some sky. Could be some cotton candy. And there's the back side, black and white. Do you ever tie-dye Easter eggs? No. I haven't for a long time. My kids, my children are much older than that, and my granddaughter, we don't usually do Easter eggs with her because she does those with her mom. All right, and then we've got this stripy paper. I love these colors. And then this. This will be fun to either use watercolor pencils, our alcohol blends, the blending pen. There's just a lot of things we can do with this. And, you know, when we did the virtual card retreat I showed you, when we colored all the background, it really made the other images stand out. So that's something that I think, not necessarily the whole page all at once, because that would be an awful lot of coloring. But eventually. You know, piece by piece, I think it would be really pretty. Sorry, I needed a drink. And this is kind of a fun design. So kind of circles, but also kind of X's. And then here's the back side. Who doesn't like some black and white polka dots? And this is really interesting. It's got, I don't know, it's almost like gel pen lines on here that they've just make like, I don't know, cracked glass or something. Interesting concept. And then the back side is just almost like hand-drawn X's or plus signs on there. The honeycomb design. Cute. Zigzag. This would be fun colored too, if you don't get too dizzy. And look at this. White polka dots on the... this is probably pool party. White polka dots on the pool party. That's fun. And then some little ice. When I saw this the first time, I thought that was a bunch of like seagulls. So that's that fun paper. And then there's embellishments. They're here somewhere. Your sister requested no chocolate eggs. So you're going to make royal icing sugar eggs for the family? We used to do, as a fundraiser with the youth group at church, we used to make these like fondant. I don't know if they're really fondant or not, but we would make like a dough, many different flavors like peanut butter or chocolate mint, and then we would dip them all. And then we would put flowers on the tops of them. And they were about that big. They were huge, but they were delicious. But we would mass produce them and sell them as a fundraiser. People loved them. But we only did it at Easter because it was a lot of work. All right, so let's find, here are the embellishments. So there are the embellishments then that go with this paper. Now they're a little thicker than I usually care for. Oh, that paper in Ocean at Sunset? Yes. All right, so what's this ketchup? You really don't want to. You put ketchup on it for a reason. Oh, dear. So here are these. Oh, and I guess we can see all the colors there. So it's just 4 colors. So looks like Flirty Flamingo, Lemon Lolly. That must be... That's Lost Lagoon. Oh, that's Pool Party. So I should probably write those on here right now so I remember. So we've got Flirty Flamingo. Lemon Lolly. And then, what did I say? Pool Party. It's a party. And then... Oh, that's got to be pretty peacock. Yeah, that's pretty peacock. I think I said Lost Lagoon. I could go get the Lost Lagoon. We could make sure. No, that's definitely pretty peacock. Because there's a Lost Lagoon. So pretty peacock. All right, so those are fun colors. And I don't even remember what they demonstrated that I saw that I thought this would be so cute. But Bordered and Beauty Suite. And that comes with the little black, the black ephemera pieces basically. So that is the suite. All right, so that's that. Delicate Whispers, that's what we played with today. Keep that over there. And I think that's all I have right now. And that Impressions plate, which is really an Impressions mat. So yeah, Pretty Peacock is a very pretty color. I like it. And in fact, Pretty Peacock was a card that I had done for a Stampin' Up! Event. And Sarah Douglas picked mine as her favorite card, which I thought was quite an honor. All right, so I'm going to call it a night. I think we covered everything I had to cover. That's all I have for my pre-order stuff until Tuesday when I can order more pre-order stuff. So the other thing that I've got going on, it was my Stampiversary on the 19th of March, 9 years as a demonstrator. So thank you, Juju. So if you order from me in March, thanks. I will give I have to think of how I did this. I did the math. Math is hard at this time of the day. So I will gift $9 in Stampin' Rewards if you have a purchase of $28 or more. So your net purchase would be $19. So on the 19th, I had 9 years. So 19 and 9 is 28. So that's how I did the math. So anybody who orders from me a $28 order or more before the end of March, I will gift you $9 of Stampin' Rewards. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So one more year, I'll have 10 years in. Woohoo. And then when we do On Stage in Salt Lake City for the 40th anniversary, I'll get to walk the stage for my 10th anniversary. That will be very cool. Very, very cool. So thank you all for helping support my little business here. I appreciate it. And I'm going to say goodnight. It's almost 2 o'clock here. It's 1:55 a.m. So thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Happy crafting. And until next time, happy crafting. It's like, yeah, I usually say until next time first. So enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you all in about 22 hours-ish. Good night, everybody.